Well, guys, as you can see, since I did my video earlier, it's got a little bit darker. Sorry about that. Got my eye on a lamp, so it won't necessarily need to wait until sunlight before I do these videos. So this is the second part of my 5-part series about how I fit Arsenal Football Club, and it's about successor. So my first part of the video was, in order for us to move forward, we must leave the past behind. And for that, I personally would get rid of Arsene Wenger. Never publicly said it until this season, really. And up until recently, I was always of the objective that, you know, this should be his last contract. Let him see him out. He deserves that much. Over the course of this season, I progressively felt let down. And whilst I still maintain that you won't see me hounding the motherfucker out, and that's not really against anybody who chooses to do so. It's just I just choose to express my disappointment in a different way. It's not, for me, it's not about hounding an old man who at least at one time or another did great things for the club. You know, I heard Claude say it himself on Sunday, you know, that he is a brilliant man and has done wonderful things for the club. But sometimes you just need to be able to move on. Sometimes to move forward, you need to be able to leave the past behind. And we're in desperate need of doing that. And this part is really in link with that, is his successor. I think there's a lot of fear about the idea of sacking Arsene Wenger. It's like, well, okay, he won't win us shit, but he at least gets us to a status quo. And obviously the immediate argument that comes to a point is, what's the point in trying to qualify for a competition that we never get past the last 16 of? And I understand that. But in order for you to be granted your wish of better players, transfers, qualifying for the Champions League is absolutely paramount. I don't subscribe to this view of, oh, you know, I kind of hope that we don't qualify for the top 4 because it will push them into action. I don't subscribe to that view. I think if we weren't to qualify, then how exactly, new manager or current manager, do you expect us to transfer to attract the very best players that you want at the club? You know, I'm with you. To be honest, in my opinion, the worst part of the football season is the fucking summer transfer window, because it feels like we're always, every year, set up for some sort of disappointment. You know, even with Ozil and Sanchez, as much as I loved them coming on board, those weren't the fucking positions we needed. We've been saying it for years, the position we need. For absolute years, the position we need. But anyway, I digress. For me, I'm of the view, and I probably have never, but I've always been of the view that I quite like the idea of, and I heard someone mention it during Claude's video, and I've been saying it for some time amongst my friends, and I'm completely on board with this. I like the idea of Koeman with Dennis Bergkamp as his number 2. For me, that would be my absolute ideal situation. I think people are very much caught up with the idea of getting someone like the Germany manager. I don't know why I don't buy that he'd be a good fit for Arsenal. And to be honest with you, I don't see us attracting Simeone. I really don't. If we could get him, fantastic. But my gut feeling tells me that I don't think, because for me, style of football isn't everything. You know, I mentioned it in my previous video when I was doing the review. You know, for all of Arsenal's plaudits about being a really good footballing team, that was a boring fucking match against Palace. So for me, style of football doesn't mean fuck all if we're not winning shit. And quite frankly, the most entertaining part of being a football fan is seeing your team win. And if our team's winning, quite frankly, who gives a fuck if we're playing tip-tappy football or not, or we're playing long ball shit? As long as it's working, who gives a fuck? I think, in a way, I think it's people reacting because people generally as a whole are not a fan of change. And when you've had a constant in your club for 20 years, the idea of radicalizing something that has been part and parcel of our football club for 2 decades, it's a scary thought. It's a scary prospect. My idea for Koeman is very simple. People will probably automatically compare that to when United chose Moyes. Let me stop you right there. First of all, I'm trying to say that Moyes and Koeman are anywhere on the same fucking level. All right, so he's not won anything with Southampton. Have we looked at my man's career though, the whole way through? Generally, on a whole, his CV theoretically is not that far off LVG's. You know, admittedly, it's a little bit more limited to the Dutch league, but he is a very capable, very good, very solid, very competent manager who has his teams playing very energetic, good, organized. Organized is the key word. Football. For me, I'd have him in a shot. And I think to have his Dutch compatriot and just someone who, with all due respect to Steve Bold, just someone new. There's no point putting a new manager and not replace him. And that would be why I would have Dennis there. He's one of our own. And he's someone who can, I mean, just hearing the quote from Dennis in the weekend where he said that for him, where Arsenal lost the league is in defence. I agree. I think it's one of many problems, and I think the defence needs to be looked at. And I think if someone could genuinely look at it, because Dennis will have the striking bit down, so it's literally just the defence. So if they can allow Dennis to look at it, and that with a new manager will be more inclusive of former Arsenal players. So you can see people like your David Seamans, your Martin Keowns, your Tony Adams, your Ian Wrights, all of whom have gone on the record to say, as soon as you motherfuckers are ready, call me, and I'll be happy to help Arsenal anywhere I can. And I think it needs that. It needs a serious shake-up at the coaching level. In my video, I might as well say this, in my video series, you won't see me go into too much about the owner. But I will say this, I do think the owner needs to go. I'm just addressing these issues as though I'm the owner of Arsenal Football Club, not as Stan Kroenke, that I think Stan Kroenke should do this. Because I have no faith in him. Seeing what he spends our money on, I have no faith in him. So for me, this is just me, what I personally do. If I was to win, I don't know, $50 billion somehow, £50 billion somehow, this is what I personally do. So I'd go in and grab the fucking shit out of it, shake it up, put Koeman in there, put Dennis in there. Let's see what the fuck happens. Let's see what happens. So I think for me, I'm not sure about Simeone. I would love him in, but I just don't think we would get him. And you see other names bandied about, like the Germany manager, not for me. Not for me. Not convinced. De Boer was someone I was also quite a big fan of. Bit worried that maybe his team flatters him a little bit. Because it does worry me, because De Boer has gone for other jobs before and has not got them. So it makes me think, what are other people seeing that, we haven't had a chance to yet? So that would be my personal preference, for us to go for a Koeman. Jose, fuck no. I'd rather keep Dana there. Fuck no. Just out of Prince of fucking vanity. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a short video because there's only so much to say about it. I'd put Koeman in. Simple as that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Comment below. Am I right? Is it a good choice? If it's a bad choice, let me know who your alternative would be. Who would your suggestion be? If you haven't already, do subscribe to me at Colossal Chig. Subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Colossal Chig. And you can subscribe up above and you'll get alerted whenever I put out a new video. All right, short one. Next video will be about transfers. That'll be the juicy one. Take care. Peace.